Welcome to the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Together we explore the vast landscapes of life, delving into the rich soil of experiences, sowing the seeds of curiosity, and harvesting the profound wisdom that each episode unfolds.
It's a lot like any kind of inheritance stuff. You know, the matriarch or the patriarch dies and has the money. All the children and nephews, everybody fights
to fight.
over it. I mean, it's a natural thing. These people are protecting their interests, but it's not an efficient system.
But then, still they're under pressure by, for example, by the state in order to, the transition in this case, which you explained, there might be a conflict, but still there is a fast exit of this, where with the land you can just be an absentee owner, leave your inheritance stuck. You don't care, and this land stays like this, and it's not utilized, or you go into bushes, and so it's just abandoned. And there is no pressure to take this to change the abundance state. So it's
So what happens is overall, you lose the industry. You lose a lot of that. So what kind of you lost? You had a lot of other European countries buying Bulgarian wine.
no.
And you lost some of them, right?
No, there was no foreign investments in land.
No,
But
but
they-
buying the actual product.
Yeah, but it was within the Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
Although we had a large market for wine in UK and Scandinavia, etc. So the wine was more convertible, more towards Western Europe than the other.
But when
But
the
the-
disorganization took place, you lost some of those markets.
Yeah, and so basically with this transition didn't help the quality, because the new, even if they were not absentee owners, they didn't know how to take care about the vineyards. The wineries themselves, they didn't have a clue what the vineyard and what the grape is. I had an Australian consultant that was joking at me that the Bulgarian winemakers believe that the grape grow on trucks, because they were switched on when the
They didn't know the difference between a Cabernet and a Pinot Noir.
they read the note on the truck. This is dead.
Well, the winery that's right behind you, the big, massive winery, is basically abandoned. And it had those concrete tanks that you said were 30,000 liters each.
These are the smallest, the small ones. So they are between 75 tons, 25, 50, and 55. So this winery was, my winery was the regional hub for the grape in the region. And they were making like 35 million liters of wine each year. And they would send via rail. In Bulgaria, there were two places where you bottle the wine. So they were the blending and the bottling facilities for the whole production of the monopoly. And
So it was a kind of a co-op for distribution and co-op for.
yeah, although it's not a co-op, it was a corporation. Yeah. So big corporation, vertically integrated, until the agricultural part is in one company, the processing, the activities in another company.
But if we look at it from now, if you're a guy who's growing grapes, let's say you have a 60 hectares or 100 hectares, you need to find a new place to get your stuff processed, pressed, destemmed, pressed, stored, and then bottled, and then distributed. And the infrastructure was kind of missing from it, right?
Well, actually, in every region you have a local, regional winery.
Still on.
Yeah, and what I did, for example, in my case, I developed like a contract winery structure. So, not all, so I created an offer for a contract winery. So you, for example, you have a vineyard. You don't want to invest wisely. You don't want to invest in equipment that you utilize for 20 days per year.
Right.
You come to me, we process your grape the way you want, and then if you want to, you can either age it at your place or age it with me, etc. Because I have the capacity to a big capacity for everything. So during the socialism, my company was like, as I said, 35 million tons. 35 million liters, 35,000 tons. Now I'm like 1,000 tons. 35.
So how do you reduce scale?
No, you just you used to sell very cheap, stuff by the tons, and then you just it's like switching from very bad food to good food. You cannot sell millions of things. So basically, we went to quality and also less quantity. But so I have an offer, and there are a couple of guys in the region that have vineyards, and instead of investing in steel and concrete, they pay me a fee and they get their wine done. And this is, I think it's much better because you have a better utilization for everyone.
Without you, they would,
And
maybe wouldn't even have a chance.
And at the end of the day, the most important thing for an agricultural product is the marketing. I mean, of course, you have to get the processing right, but that's not where the process ends. This is
With
it's
the money,
1/3.
that's where your biggest costs are. Now you have to recruit and sell.
And better. If you're a small one with less resources, better concentrate on the most important thing. I mean, if you're a one-person company, you don't have an accountancy department. You hire an accountant and pay him by the hour.
Expert or a pressing expert.
Yeah.
The space to store everything. So, okay, let's a second hook point would be talking about what you're doing over here now, which I would call it regenerative farming. And it's you're using the electric fence. There's a little bit more labor in it, but you are pasture grazing.
Yeah.
You're moving the cattle around. You have both cattle for meat, cattle for dairy. You have chickens. You're moving the chickens around.
Hence for it.
Right. And then as an experiment, fun little experiment, you've got the I've already forgot the name.
The syntropic.
Syntropic food forest.
Okay, so I have a pasture with pasture cows for milk and beef, and you said all of this. But what is most very important is first I utilize my real estate by using the premises for processing. So I have a dairy, I have a kitchen, and I have a butchery where I actually process nose to tail all of the all of the stuff that I harvest. So we do from bone broth to pate, everything, and we do charcuterie, and
So the advantage of being vertically integrated is that you're not subcontracting stuff out, you're not losing money. The disadvantage is you need to be an expert now in everything.
yeah,
And-
that's
and you
the
have the
downside.
costs, right? So what was the hardest part for you? Would you say, and then that's just production. Then you have to get into marketing and distribution. So what was the hardest part in your journey doing this so far? There's no easy part.
There is no, but the most boring and the part that kind of makes you unoptimistic is the regulatory part,
It's a different story.
because you have for every part of the business you have different regulation. In front of you there is a huge mass of bureaucrats that don't care. They're just reading the.
Well, they're following their rules.
They're doing their job. Uh, Here is not like in America, because I was registering wine label in the States. And there you have very cold answer, but a competent answer.
Yeah, it's the rule of law.
And they say, this doesn't, is not whatever, supported by this or that text in the law. And somehow I myself managed to register a wine label that is heavily regulated in the States just by following the process and the system. It's very bad feeling because you don't have a person in front of you. And it was back in 15 years ago, and I didn't feel very, very comfortable, but still it was. I had the feeling that I had a competent person in front. Here we adopted very sophisticated rules from the European Union, on top of a not very sophisticated and competent administration. And so what happened? You have a very sophisticated set of rules, especially in the food law. The administration has a lot of leeway, so a lot of decisions that they can make on their own, but they don't want to because they take a risk. And there was an analysis in of the adoption of Regulation 853 that governs the food stuffs in the European Union, and they said the most flexible is the Austrian authority, the Austrian Food Authority, and the most unflexible one is the Bulgarian. It's out of 24 countries. And so it's paradoxical. I mean, everything else was much easier than to change the. So first to tell the bureaucracy, the food administration, that you can do couple of products in one place, for them is unthinkable. They want you to have one hole, for example, for yogurt, and another hole for cheese, and another one for yellow cheese.
And another one for milk.
And when you're a small thing, you have to be universal. You cannot have dedicated rooms. I mean, it's a small production.
So we see policy making a big difference everywhere we are, especially if we're trying to advance toward regenerative farming everywhere on the planet. There has to be either some tests. I mean, with the USDA, they do have every 4 years they'll pass a new bill, and generally speaking, and for instance, they allowed the usage of industrial hemp to be grown. At first, though, it was experimental. They had to see what was going on. Now it's useful, but even still, it's going to take years and years for an industry like that to emerge, even though we all know it it can be a great product and a great resource. But so it's a constant vigilance. I guess a call to action would be who votes on that? How do you get support? What would the call to action be to change some of that?
So in the European, one of the things that irritates me most, apart from the food law and what I told you about the rigidity of our administration in the food, the other thing is for example, we are not allowed to have pasture pigs or pigs outside outside the CAFO, outside the concentration camp.
Which you would think would be the best place for the pigs.
Oh yeah, and also, I mean, you can use it in different contexts, etc. You can use it after the combine, after you pick the whatever corn or the wheat or whatever. I mean, the pig is the scavenger, and this is again, this is clearly a lobbying against small because I mean you're not industrial by so it's a protection of the big guys. These guys, there's a fight with diseases and things like this, as if the diseases are not in the capos but only on the outdoor animals. So we have a lot of constraints that are disguised like hygiene or health reasons.
There's some
And
reason behind some of these laws.
and the bad thing about the European Union is that we don't have common legislation on the rules of raising the animals. So each country
That's their own.
has its own.
So how is there a group that you're aware of that can actually help lobby? Is there anybody out there?
This is the problem that because we are coming from a very industrial perspective, we don't have small farmers in order to
You don't have
have a
enough
critical mass. Yeah, because we used to be industrial. At some point, we used to be nothing, and then we are again part industrial, part this, part that. So basically, for me, the only hope is the consumer, because the consumer is
pushing it from the bottom
constrained.
up.
Should push, and the consumer is actually devoted. Sorry, my English is missing, but so the consumer is missing the quality meat of pasture pig, for example.
Right.
So this is
They're not getting the
No.
highest quality food. The chicken we talked about too. They're getting
No.
industrial chicken rather than having one that has just a much better flavor profile and healthier chicken.
Yeah. So actually, the consumer is losing. On the other hand, this is very helpful for the industry, because once you don't know, it's like the tomatoes. If you haven't tasted good tomatoes,
You don't know?
how do you know that the cardboard tomatoes are shit?
Right. The longer and longer we embrace industrial consumerism, the longer the past
Yeah.
gets behind us.
Yeah, and you lose the memory.
Right. That's why we have that education platform we'd like to roll
Yeah,
out.
that's
So,
very,
if a kid grows his own tomato, he knows it's better than anything you can get in the store.
Yeah, and the good thing, you cannot make it from this point on. The kid is not going to like the cardboard tomato and
There's something I always say is like once you see something, you can't unsee it. Once you taste something, you can't untaste it.
Yeah.
You know if there's something better out there, then you know it. So, you're right. You legislate through the consumer. That's another way to do it.
Yeah, because otherwise there is no critical mass of. So if something is forbidden, how could you have union behind the forbidden thing?
Right. So what do you see in the next 10 to 20 years? An impossible question. Right?
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm trying to manipulate it.
Exactly, as you should. As you should.
So, for me, the agriculture is the only field in which you can try to be free, because you could end up depending only on yourself, despite the regulations, despite the many constraints you have, but still you can produce your own electricity, you can produce your own food, you can close the cycle. As I follow very much Joe Salatin, and so he says, the only industrial thing that I have to buy is the toilet paper. So
not if he gets a Japanese
leaves
toilet, right? You won't need that anymore.
Yeah, but I like the concept, and also the other thing which I like with the agriculture is that we create physical stuff out photons from the
It's
sun.
about energy.
Yeah,
cycle. Right?
Yeah. So we are harvesting sun.
The thing I like, the way I got caught up in all this, certainly wasn't profitable up until now, the concept. But what I liked was at my age, as a career critic, I think, I'm more interested in learning than I was in any other point in my life. In college, high school, grade school, I didn't. You're forced into learning. Now I can let myself go someplace that I want to learn some intellectual thing. And you're learning, so it's a history lesson, because we have to learn traditional concepts, right? But also it's just that learning curve. All these things you've done, you pretty much have to go on your own.
Yeah, intellectually it's very challenging.
Right?
It's very interesting because you have to solve practical questions.
But
It's not a theoretical. It's a theoretical at the end of the day, because you have to go through very much to a lot of theory. But at the end of the day, you solve a practical question, and this drives you to go through all of the theory.
And I think it's a fulfillment thing to know that you're working on something which could be passed down to other people.
Yeah.
Even though you're passing down one thing out of 1,000 mistakes you made, right?
That's a huge saving. I mean,
if you're the guy making 1,000 mistakes, if somebody helped you with 50 of them, you would have been so grateful. Right? So I think that's what we're talking about. So the call to action for me on that is, for all our podcast guests, including you, is we have your information out there. So if anybody has any real questions, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Your response might be, are you crazy? This is going to cost you a fortune. It's really hard. But, if they have some technical issues or questions, especially if they're in the region, they can come and visit, they can look at it.
Absolutely, we are very open door, and participating in different organizations in Europe as well. And it's for me, this is indispensable to be able also to ask someone and to even a farm visit. You can have so many ideas.
Sure.
And
all the things that worked and all the things that didn't.
Yeah, I mean, especially things that didn't work are very, very valuable, because it's actually, if I go back, what drained my the finances or the mistakes?
Well, also, I remember some of the early books telling me start at a small scale.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, I don't do that. I'm starting at a big scale. I know better. But now I look back, and the small scale would have been, much easier to get out of.
What was this safe to fail? To do
Yeah.
experiments safe to fail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was the better because you don't care if it fails. But yeah, and you have so many things. I was telling you about the bone chart. I'm so much, in love with this pet potential project because
Well, if it works, someone else can use it. That's, I think, the part of it, right?
yeah. Well, actually, there's an American farmer, Michael Calicrate. He's doing the bone chart, but he's doing with one retort, Exeter retort, that I think it's a good product, but doesn't allow you to harvest the energy that the bone could create. So basically, my idea with my retort is to also to produce gas in order to
Paralysis.
with pyrolysis. So to synthesize gas that not only supports the process, but also could be redirected to some other like heating water or whatever you want. And so instead of paying to the so here in Europe, you have to dump the bones to so you have like this
Graveyard almost, right?
tipping fee to someone to come and collect it. Well, if you can,
And then they're not being reused for any purpose.
I don't know what do they do, but for sure you pay them to ship something that belongs to you, and these are your minerals,
Right.
your nutrition. Sending paying to take you paying.
And once it gets through that thermophilic, that pyrolysis, you sanitize it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So
totally safe. It's totally safe.
And so you're producing a little bit of energy as you do it, and
Yeah.
you're creating a product that could be
Yeah, it's very good.
beneficial.
Very good for the soul. So those kind of things you can do only in agriculture. That's
Right.
why I
Tons
love
of little projects.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My father had all these crazy projects as I grew up, and I hated it because I was the one guy who he's Mike, come do this, come do this. He did, potatoes. He bought a truckload of potatoes one day, and because he got them so cheap. We had a big family, but so we had for months we had make French fries and freeze them and then cook them. And I got so tired. I don't like French fries too much to this day. I can eat one or two, but same thing with pickles, with cucumbers, with pickle and with dill, and but he had projects. Every vehicle we bought cheap, really cheap, and we had to nurse that vehicle along for a long time. And, everything became a project. That was my eulogy for him when he died, and I had everybody in the family was just laughing because he was one of I think 6 or 7, and all of his brothers and sisters and their kids would laugh, saying, "I thought it was just my dad. No, it's your dad too." It was part of that generation of people who, and now I understand that he had projects that took him away from his normal routines.
Yeah.
And it gave him something to do. And I think you're right. The agriculture space allows you to do it. We also know that the world is in trouble. The environment is in trouble due to our actions. And we know that we could be eating better.
Yeah.
And the solutions are not that complicated. Right? But we need to invest in them. I think that's the call to action for me, is to have people who are interested in this kind of thing start learning from it, get involved with it, support. I think if we have a education platform that can be anywhere in the world, but it's teaching these basic concepts, these stack using garden base, it allows us to do it. So, but I thank you for being on, taking your whole day off and showing me around, and I appreciate it. You're a like-minded person, and anyone who's watching this will have all kinds of information on how to look at your website, and hopefully you're part of this larger group of creative community of creatives, that you can actually engage and talk with some other people. Because we have a lot of soil scientists, and plant scientists, and we have farmers, and we have educators, and it could be, I think, an enjoyable way to push things through. So anyone who's watching, hope you enjoyed this. I'm sure we broke it into a few different parts. Please subscribe, and you can contact. It's Philippe, not Philip.
Philip.
Philip. Okay. Any place I go, it's pronounced different.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Click subscribe and like for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for show notes and additional resources. Visit our guests' webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey, and until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.